If you can hear me, I'm going to be doing this a few times over. Give me a snap and if you're in the audience. Oh, I love that. Very cool. I want to make this interactive. Yes, I am not here with you, but I'm with you in spirit at this beautiful venue. Like was just shared, I am with yoursocialmediasherpa.com. Now, a lot of folks in this house may be already doing their own marketing. And a lot of times, tell me if you've heard this phrase by giving me that nice snap. If you've heard the phrase before that it's way easier to get a repeat client and a referral client than it is to get a brand new one. If you've heard it, give me a snap. Oh, I hear a lot of snaps. Oh my goodness. So a lot of the work I go through is helping people maximize their referral reputation rather than just hoping that someone new is going to fall from the sky, which is much harder, as I hear that from resonating here in the audience. So a lot of folks will ask me, what is a Sherpa? A Sherpa is a mountain guide that will take you up a mountain of the Himalayas so that you are not alone, that's guiding you on the journey. And that's what I do with my clients. I help them navigate the vast and overwhelming world of social media and the various choices that they have. A lot of times they think they need to do way more than they actually need to do. Is anyone here overwhelmed with social media? Can we relate anybody? Some snaps? Okay, I hear a little bit. Okay, not everybody. This is good. I love hearing that. So yes, and a lot of times it's building the bridge between the leader of an organization and the marketing staff as well. I'm going to stand up here. Why not? So where do I want to go with my business? That is one of the questions I have. I have lots of different directions to go. And the hope is to help people feel less scared to do their own marketing. A lot of the power and the resources are already in their hands. If you are a super connector, you already have an audience for your social media. And that's what I want to help businesses tap into. So that is a little bit about what I saw. The process I take my clients through is a little bit like this, is I start with a video review of what you look like to the people that are going to search you. Do you show up really well on Google? Do you show up really well on your LinkedIn, right? Maybe some of you Googled me before I gave this talk today, right? Anybody you want to work with, you're going to be Googled. Does that content show up and show you as guilty as charged for the service that you're trying to provide your people? Are your FAQs fully filled out? Are you answering the questions that your clients haven't even realized they needed to ask? So from there, once I do a video review, I send that to my clients. From there, we do a 2-hour onboarding session where we not only pull out their personal story, which I'll tell you a little bit more about on my end as well, but we pull out their personal story. This is something I see people miss out on their own social media presence or their website. From there, we also learn 2 or 3 social media skills that can help them grow. Ever wanted to know how to hack Instagram hashtags to get seen by new people? Or want to make sure that you're inviting new people to like your Facebook page in a way that is fun and respectful? I will show you how to do that so you don't have to figure it out yourself. And then lastly, I work with my clients ongoing to make sure that they're held accountable to their goals and they don't feel like it's just one more task on their plate. For some of my clients, it even helps that I can train their social media staff to do it for them in a way that's actually going to amplify the skills that that business owner already has. So how did this crazy lady get into social media Sherpa-Ing? So many moons ago, I was living on MySpace. If anyone's on MySpace, again, some snaps in the house here. I loved it. I actually manage an online community of fans for the reality show Big Brother and Survivor. And that was a really fun group. Ask me about it later if you love those shows. And I loved it. And that is actually how I used to make friends. I didn't know how to socialize as a kid that was bullied and teased a lot. And I realized all those social skills that I grew up having are exactly the social skills and the internet social skills I teach my clients today. So that's a little taste of how this is part of my story. It's how I survived, but also how I help my clients survive and thrive online. On top of that, I was doing social media for a long time, and someone at a BNI meeting, any BNI folks in the house, and someone asked me, Shiley, I know you can do social media. I probably wasn't in the price point these owners could afford, but she was in the price point to hire me as a consultant to sit down with her to show her how things worked. And as a trained educator and teacher, I teach at the University of Chicago as well. That was the perfect thing for me to empower and motivate folks. So it's a lot of heart and soul that went into me doing this exact thing that I do now. So I have a very wide range of business owners, but a lot of them have this in common, that they are connectors. They have people that love and trust them and will refer them out to more folks. I've had a sleep consultant who is also a rabbi. I have an Indian matchmaker. I have a celebrity caterer. I have chiropractors, real estate agents, and beyond. So that's the thing that brings them all together. So I've worked with a lot of different industries there. I want to give you a few tips that can help you right now. The first one is gratitude. If I learned anything from education, is that if you give someone a thank you for taking an action on your social media, whether that be a like or a comment, give them a thank you. Positive reinforcement will encourage them to want to do that action again, because they know it's going to make you happy if they do. On LinkedIn, I find that people look you up on LinkedIn before they buy anything from you. And if your profile doesn't show that you are the best solution out there, update it. Put a banner image that's beyond the skyline. Show me what you're like on a day-to-day basis. Tell me what you solve. If you want more inspiration, I have my favorite LinkedIn profiles available on my website so that you can get some great examples. And lastly, Twitter. You don't have to worry too much about Twitter. Have the account. But Twitter can unlock all your competitors' clients for you. A lot of times these accounts will follow their competitors on Twitter, and you can find out who they're serving. So it's a great little hack for Twitter. My business has grown because I'm kicking butt on LinkedIn. I'm very proud of my LinkedIn presence. I have a highly engaged network that when they see my stuff, they get really excited. So lots of great posts out there. Now, I know I'm almost out of time here. The things that I could use support with, it hit me last night that it is structure. I put it in big letters. I am making sure that my sales structure is really good. I just got some really great advice about making sure that I write down my whole sales process. I've been using videos to do that, but I probably could be a little stronger, and making sure my client experience is super great from start to finish. So those are some insights I'm looking for today. And I put a few other items on here as well. Thank you so much for having me today. And I can't see you, but I know you're there. So I would love to hear thoughts, questions, comments, and all that goodness.
Hi, thank you. My name's Daniel. I'm new here, by the way. In terms of structure, what exactly are you looking for? Like business structures, or are you looking for kind of a project management solution?
Yes to all of that. I think business structure too, because I'm always trying to figure out what it is that I want. Do I want to run like a tutoring company? Do I want to run like a consultancy? Or do I want to run in a different model, or like a coaching industry? That's a great question. That's also something I'm wondering about. So I appreciate those questions. And then I have AJ wrote in the chat here. Thanks, Amy, for loving my energy. I appreciate it. AJ wrote, how do you scale this biz? That's a great question, because it's not in a scalable state right now, and it's kind of heartbreaking. It's in the pay the bills state right now, and so far so good. So that's a great question, AJ. I appreciate it. Daniel, did you have a follow-up?
Yeah. So my follow-up pretty much, I guess, is pretty much what he was asking. Since you're choosing to continue on with your clients, and monitor their goals and stuff, are you finding that overwhelming? Are you trying to bring more people into it, or maybe change up your model so that it's not taking up as much of your time so you can expand more?
This is a great question. I have the time to serve more people. I want to keep listening to your question again, because that was really good. Sorry. What's one more time? Can you outline a few of the things? The second thing you said, I was like, oh, that's sparking ideas.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. So obviously, the goal with any business is to grow. And so, like you said, it's not really in a scalable state right now. So I was just wondering, are you planning more on bringing in other people, training them with the stuff so delegate out more stuff? Or are you looking to maybe cut down a bit on the coaching so you have more time to get new clients? Or
So far my marketing is working great. I have a lot of inbound, which is awesome. I'm not very good at the outreach, and so far people seem to see what I do and they like it. But in terms of hiring other people to coach, I could totally build a business around that. Do I want to be navigating the whole people training process? I don't know. That makes me stressed out. I find that structure is really hard for me, and then the more time I spend on the structure is the less time I spend on the thing that I really kick butt at, which is motivating and coaching businesses. And I know that I'm not the most organized. But ultimately, I have pieces that make my customer experience great, but I feel like if I had less headache on the back end, it would be a way smoother process for me to serve people even better. And that's where I'm kind of stuck a little bit.
Yeah, hi. A bit of a follow-up.
Please.
Now that I kind of have a better understanding of what you're looking for, what I am actually trying to do here is consult people on business structures. You know, I was a content strategist for a few years. I'm really good at process workflows and establishing a bunch of different strategies for how to build the documentation you need to go after more clients and investors.
Sure.
So if you want to connect afterwards, I'd love to have a follow-up conversation with you.
Sure. What can I write down your name? Because I can't see you right now.
Yeah, Daniel Parkins is my name.
Is that Parkins?
Yeah, I can connect with them and send you an email afterwards as well.
Fantastic. I so appreciate it. Yes, structure is difficult for sure. But also too, like, do I want to sell? Do I not? Oh, Amy, thanks for the follow on LinkedIn. I super love that. You're going to get lots of tips and insights to your inbox or to your feed.
Hey, Shiley, could you talk about the pay structure for this? Are your clients paying a monthly payment? Is it a one-time fee? Could you talk about your pay a little bit more?
Sure. So sometimes I start with an audit, which is a really low risk way for them to start and get feedback on what they have. And then from there, I usually require an onboarding session. This is where I'm also playing around with it. I had a 3-month package that I was working on last year that had 5 sessions for a certain price. And then ongoing, it was charging their credit cards a little bit of money every month to get a session. And that was okay for a while. I got some extra money because I had the recurring revenue model, and I kind of got rid of it because the coaching industry is sell them a big package and have them be excited about it. But I'm also I don't know if I'm set up to show off my business like I'm a consultant. And one of my clients is a business coach for women consultants. So I think I've been trying to do a little bit of what she teaches, but I'm maybe that isn't my path. So that's something that I'm wondering about for myself too. But yeah, usually it's like that. It's not really hourly, but it's closer to hourly than it is value-based pricing. And I don't like that that's how it is right now. But I'm wondering if I need to take a few more of the way that I'm doing it now to get to the point where I want to be later. So I would love a follow-up from you too. It's tricky. Oh, hello?
Hi, this is Natalie Fairborn. Hey, I just want to say that you have a delightful personality.
Thank you.
And the reason I say that is, have you ever considered doing a online, Udemy coaching social media course for new companies? Because I feel like somebody could use you who's, has their business and they just have no idea of how to use social media whatsoever, and they don't even know where to start.
Sure.
An Udemy course could serve them well by just learning how to start with social media in their businesses.
This is a juicy question because I know there's a whole industry that's a whole other category of doing courses. A lot of my clients are already doing social media. They just aren't doing it well. They have an audience. So I find that those are and I love doing the one-on-one, the setting up the class. If somebody else was able to organize the efforts, great. But it's also I don't know, some of them are more expensive, some of them are less, but it's a whole other can of worms that I'm not sure I want to take on. I think it's picking my poison. What do I want to drive my what craziness am I going to take on in terms of a battle? So it's interesting. And I have 10 pieces of content that you should have that could literally feed someone's entire content machine that I could sell as a course, but I haven't organized it as such, but it could be. It's a whole other can of worms to market a course than it is what I'm doing. It's interesting. And there's competition too. There's a lot of competition. I don't find there's a lot of people that do what I do for the audience I do it for. I usually don't find a lot of competitors, which is interesting. So yeah, I would say a lot of social media managers will say, oh, I'm a coach, and they'll teach someone else how to be a social media manager, but business owners don't want to be social media managers. They want to be business people. So I'm like an extension of someone's business strategies. If you're a good networker, I take all of those skills and apply it to your social media effort. So it doesn't feel like you're doing double the work. It's really focused on them first, than me trying to teach someone to be a social media manager. And that's what I find a lot of people are trying to do. And I don't think their services is as robust. So great question.
I got a comment. Again, love your energy.
Thanks.
I respect people who are creative like you. I don't have a lot of those juices, but just from experience with my wife, who's very savvy with social media and has, you know, a photography company and stuff, she's run into very similar things, right? And just the same way that you're going to companies that don't do social media well, it's kind of like siloing strengths, right? They do their business well, you can do their social media. I think that it may be to the point where you go and you say, okay, how can I silo myself? And so my daily efforts are focused on my strengths. And then how can I off-put those things that I don't like doing or I'm not good at, right? So that's it. You don't have to scale. You don't have to train a bunch of people to coach. You know, that gets into a thing because then you're trying to duplicate yourself, which is impossible, right? But ultimately, if you can get to the point where you either have one person or you find these softwares that makes, you know, those headache abilities go away, I think that's ultimately where you're going to find more joy, right? And be able to scale more. Obviously, there's going to be a cap because there aren't any you know, there are 24 hours in a day, can't really replicate yourself. But if you're able to silo that so you're not spending time on those abilities that you don't like or you just aren't good at, but you are focusing on the things that you're good at, you know, that's where I think you're going to find more of that clarity and that scalability. But just a thought.
Oof. Yes, I am definitely learning the skill of outsourcing. I have a writer that I just hired yesterday to help me with my FAQ page. So it's definitely something that I think will give me more time to focus on what's good. I have a couple interns, so that's a learning experience. I've never had interns. So definitely something I'm learning to manage. That's a really great reminder. I needed to hear that. Thank you.
All right, we have one last question for you, Shiley, and you've kind of already answered it, but if you want to talk more about it or if you have other ideas, the question is, what can the 1 Million Cups community do for you?
Oof. That is a great question. So I'll put my slide back up here. I really appreciate this community. I've been a part of my chapter for I don't know, maybe 3 years, maybe 5 years. And I'm so grateful for it. I wrote down here that introductions, of course, introductions are always appreciated to people who are business consultants or people who have a bunch of different companies that need to learn these skills. I can work with their clients on their behalf so that they don't have to be the experts in marketing. So business consultant firms are really helpful. The other thing I do, and I just got brought on to do another workshop for teenage women on how to get most out of their LinkedIn profiles. And I find that there's not a lot of people who talk about this, and I help them talk about themselves in a way that they can feel proud of. So those would be really great introductions to high schools and colleges that want their students to get to that level. And then chambers of commerce and Rotary clubs, I would love to see how I can support those groups and give some training to them. So those are some things to help. And I'm going to leave you on my favorite social media quote. Does that sound good?
Please.
Social media is about the people, not about your business. Provide for the people, and the people will provide for you.